Hey Newlies, coming up is a breakdown of what to expect in the 5 stages of marriage. What's up? What's up? Welcome to Forever Newlywed. My name is Kenya Nunez, and the goal of this page is to engage, inform, and impact newly married women. This week, we are diving into the 5 stages of marriage. So, why am I even talking about this? As a newlywed, there were points in this year that made me uncomfortable. Going from single or even dating into marriage are very different things. I've been stretched, sometimes beyond what I thought was possible. But what I learned from a few courses of psychology is that every life phase has stages, and marriage is no different. Tell the truth now. If you've been married more than 6 months, you've run into some moments, some hiccups that made you raise a brow. They made you say, is it just me, or should that have gone another way? But I'm here to proclaim that much of what you've experienced is normal. My main point is, all of these stages should give you hope. At no point should you decide to give up. No relationship is the same. Where one couple stays in stage 1 for 2 years, you may only stay there for 2 weeks. It's okay. So use this information, this education, to your benefit. Let's go. Okay, stage 1 is the romance stage, also known as the honeymoon phase and fantasy phase. You know this stage. You can't get enough of each other. I love that Lewis seemed to not see my flaws. Conflict is seen as bad in this stage. I don't remember arguing with Lewis at all. Neither of you can do any wrong, mainly because you're still on your best behavior. Biologically, your body is producing a lot of endorphins, which makes you unusually happy. Lastly, passions are high and annoyances are overlooked. This is the flowery phase that rom-coms are birthed out of. Stage 2 is the disillusionment stage, also known as the familiarization stage or adjusting to reality stage. This is when you realize your spouse is a human being. Go figure. I was kind of glad that Lewis didn't think I was perfect anymore. It took a lot of pressure off me. In this stage, you realize that they have flaws and shortcomings, and they realize you have flaws and shortcomings. In this phase, you really begin getting to know each other. So get excited. Biologically, endorphins are simmering down now. Your spouse's habits aren't as cute as they used to be, but you still have enough of stage 1 lingering. Your main job in this stage is to learn how to communicate and resolve conflict effectively. I cannot stress the importance of that because effective communication is what will help you survive stage 3. Stage 3 is the power struggle stage, also known as the disappointment phase or distress stage. Let me start off by rebuking the spirit of fear, quitting, depression, and manipulation in Jesus' name. Moving on. At this point, the effects of stage 2 have taken their toll. Things seem harder to deal with. In this stage, you become increasingly aware of each other's differences. You fight to draw boundaries, and as a result, small annoyances become big issues. More and more, you start to feel like your partner is self-centered, selfish, uncaring, or untrustworthy. And honey, they feel the same about you. Deep resentment builds if you don't learn how to resolve issues healthily. Many couples get stuck in this phase. I remember feeling like this. I felt misunderstood, voiceless. I thought, is it always gonna be like this? But Lewis and I were still learning how to interact with each other through conflict. And the way we both dealt with conflict was not conducive to our overall marriage development. Finally, we had this breakthrough conversation and everything changed from that moment. It is absolutely necessary to learn to manage your differences effectively and communicate. Now you learn to work as a team. Have hope in this phase, newlies. You learn some of your greatest lessons here. You learn the value of peace between you and your husband. I promise, you are capable of navigating through this phase and building an even stronger bond with your husband. Stage 4 is the stability stage, also known as the friendship phase or the reconciliation stage. You'll find a much deeper sense of love, connection, and trust by this stage. I honestly think Lewis and I are in this stage. We still challenge each other, but now we feel like we're building something special. I love he. By now, you have history. You rely on the predictability of the relationship. Personal differences aren't as threatening. You both are much more able to resolve conflict and resolve it quickly. Now, some feel a sense of loss as they have to let go of the fantasy phase, but it's a great opportunity to reestablish interest and friendship. Sometimes there is a threat of drifting or boredom in this stage. Fight it, communicate, and be honest. Overall, at this stage, there should be a sense of comfort and joy. Stage 5 is the commitment stage. It's our last stage, also known as the acceptance phase or the transformation stage or the real love stage. At this point, you have a clear notion of who your spouse is with their faults and with their weaknesses. Despite all these things, you both make a conscious decision to love each other. You're with your spouse because you choose to be, not because there is a need. Now you are a team. Go Team Newlywed. There's not as much of a power struggle. You're collaborating on most things, if not all things. Lastly, you are committed to your plans for the future. And those, ladies, are the 5 stages of marriage. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me, have you experienced any of these stages in your own relationship? How did you deal with them? When hearing the stages, did you feel comfort or did you feel fear? What was some advice that worked for you? I want you to share because you don't know how your experience will help someone else. Your experience is so valuable, so share in the comments below. That's all for now. Continue to grow, learn, and have joy, newlies, and I will catch you next week right here on Forever Newlywed.